When I left my hotel this morning, my goal was to walk to the river. The closest route was go out of my hotel, turn right, and just keep on walking. It's about 1 kilometer between my hotel and the river. Unfortunately, that part of the river seems like it's a place they don't want you to go, because I would have to cross 8 lanes of traffic that had a fence in the middle, so they obviously didn't want anybody crossing the road anywhere near there. So I thought I'd put off the river to another day, maybe take a tour or something like that. There is a river walk, very famous, but it's 8 kilometers from where I'm staying, so it's not really in walkable distance. But the good news is that Ho Chi Minh City is very walkable. I remember my first night here, I was not enthusiastic about the prospects of walking anywhere. But I'm happy to report that I was wrong about that. It's very walkable. I found out that crossing the road is much easier than I suspected that it would be. If you ever come to visit Ho Chi Minh City, these are some things that might help you along in making reservations. First, Ho Chi Minh City used to be called Saigon. It's located in the southern part of the country. The airport code is still SGN. 2, the big tourist district is known as District 1. In fact, if you do a hotel reservation on any of the booking sites, you can probably do a search that limits the search or filters the search to District 1 or District 3, which I think is another popular tourist site, but look that one up because I don't really know. Next, the Vietnamese dong is the currency. And current right now, when I landed at the airport, $1 US was worth 25,000, give or take, Vietnamese dong. So when you come here, prepare yourself to deal with currency or notes that have lots of zeros on them. It's very disconcerting if you're not used to that going in. This is the Ho Chi Minh City Opera House. Now, I have no intention of attending an opera, but I always seem to end up here. This building, it's not the biggest in town. It's not even the most famous, but it does seem to have its own gravitational field that no matter where I wander, I always end up back near here. I'm not sure why yet. Next, the dominant convenience store here is Circle K. In Thailand, you recall, it's 7-Eleven. In Malaysia, it's KK or Family Mart. There are 7-Elevens also, but not as many as KK or Family Mart. If you're a tourist, that's an important thing to know. So if you need something in a convenience store in Ho Chi Minh City, at least in District 1, you're looking for KK, or Circle K, I'm sorry, and sometimes 7-Eleven. There are a few 7-Elevens that I've seen, but mostly I've seen Circle K. I do have one travel problem to report, and that is my visa is too short. When I applied online, I thought I was applying for a 90-day visa. But when I got to the airport and gave the immigration officer my passport, actually it didn't happen then, it happened in the taxi on the way from the airport to my hotel. I looked at my passport and it said that I was allowed to remain in Vietnam until November 12th. Now the problem with that is my hotel was reserved until November 15th, and my flight back to Kuala Lumpur was also on November 15th. So if I had noticed this at the airport, I'm sure I might have been able to ask about it and get it changed. I don't know if that's even possible. Well, since I left the airport, I think the process of changing it or extending it for 3 days would be far more trouble than it's worth. So what I did is ended up changing my flight and hotel reservation to November 12th rather than November 15th. So I'm going to be spending 3 fewer days here in Vietnam because of a visa problem. I did check my visa that I received online, and it did say November 12th. I didn't even bother reading it because I just assumed that it was for 90 days. But the visa was only good for the 12th. And if I read it when I received it 2 weeks before I even left Malaysia, I would have known that. So this is mostly my fault for not noticing it. But I'm also curious as to why my application for a 90-day visa was turned into what ended up being a 14-day visa. In my vast experience as an international big shot, I've come to learn that whenever you see a building that looks like this with a giant clock on the front, it's probably a railroad station. Is this a railroad station? Right now I'm not sure, but I'm going to go in and find out. What a shock. This is not a railway station. It didn't even used to be a railway station. This is a post office. What's really surprising, though, is that not only is it a post office, but it's open on a Saturday. No, thank you. Also, I'm in an area where I'm constantly photobombing people. I think I'm in somebody's wedding photos. More later. This is Book Street. It's right next door to the post office. And I don't know if it's like this every day, but keep in mind it is a Saturday. Most of the books that I've seen are in Vietnamese. There are some in English. I haven't examined too many of them because the last thing I'm going to buy is something else that has to be carried in my luggage. My reading these days is limited to ebooks and a Kindle. It's funny, but I just remembered when I left my hotel this morning, I was headed to this park, and I forgot all about it. As I was down by the river, I completely forgot about the park. But somehow, I'm exactly where I wanted to end up. Quite by accident. Oh, who needs Google Maps, right? Anyhow, I think I'll take a walk through the park before heading back to my hotel. According to Google Maps, I'm only about 400 meters from my hotel. So I'm on the lookout now for a convenience store. Grab some water and a bag of chips. And I'm set for an afternoon of video editing. All right, I'm back where I started. So I'm going to wrap this video up and say thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.